Hey guys, today I'm going to share some thoughts with you about why I finally caved and got the DJI Osmo Pocket. Can never say that right. I'm not really going to do it from a tech standpoint, just because there are a lot of proper technical, professional tech reviews out there, and I don't really get to know things on a very technical background. I just wanted to share more about my thoughts, like as a consumer, as an everyday kind of user, and I guess like how a lot of like the functionality aspect kind of tied into me making this decision. I always, especially when it's like for things that I guess cost a few $100s, I'll have a look at reviews to just kind of get an idea of what people thought were good and bad. I think to a certain degree you can't really take everyone's experience into account because there's a lot of variable factors. But I do really appreciate reviews, and I definitely did my fair share of like watching all these reviews before the firmware update, which I'll actually talk about later. But I think so I just really appreciate having the reviews to kind of act as a guidance before I get to properly purchase things. So I wanted to share a bit of my thoughts, a bit about my background and the way I use vlogging. So I'm definitely an amateur user. I only started around a year ago starting vlogging, and what I usually use is my Canon G7 Mark II. G7X Mark II, as most of my kind of vlogging kind of tools. Occasionally I will use my iPhone X. So number one, my consideration was weight and bulk. So this is my Canon G7X Mark II. This comes in at 318 grams. The other thing I kind of bring around to carry it and hold it will be the Joby GorillaPod. This is 110 grams. So when you combine the two together, I think it comes around 428 grams, which is nearly half a kilo. I wanted to definitely, the selling point of the DJI Osmo Pocket was that it was only 116 grams. Then, of course, you have the iPhone X. So this is around, I think, 174 grams. And when you think about it, the Osmo Pocket is only 116 grams, which means that it's already 58 grams less than an iPhone X. When you think about it, like, you're always carrying out your phone with you, so the weight itself, it's quite bearable, and the size, like, it's, nearly the same. So that's one of the really strong points that I factored in. To be honest, there's been a lot of content that I've wanted to film in the past, but sometimes if for like day trips going to Shenzhen or something, having to think about bringing this plus this was already enough for me to kind of be like, is it really going to be something I want to carry around for 9 hours for the whole day kind of thing. But obviously, you're always going to have to take your phone with you, and so if this is something that's so comparable in weight, I think that's like a major selling point. So some of the bags I carry are like this Celine Nano. If you can see, my wallet actually takes up a big chunk of the bag already. It's also a Celine wallet, but it's quite big already. And then you have like your power bank, your sunnies, your lip gloss. These things kind of add up. We have to carry tissues with us. So even like this is one of the main bags I use, and then another one I use a lot is like the Gucci one. This is also great for traveling because it's very durable as well, and it was a really great price. If you look at this, I will put my wallet in, maybe my power bank. I'm not even putting lip balm in, but if I put my camera in, actually it takes up a big chunk already. Not to mention, I would need to carry my Joby GorillaPod, which probably won't fit. And then I think it's also sometimes, again, like when you have weddings, I like to use like clutches. I do tend to change out my wallet anyways, but just kind of for reference, if you look at the size, it's already pretty much the whole thing, So if you have the DJI Osmo Pocket, I can slide it straight in there, and it's just so tiny and compact. So yeah, that was definitely a key consideration, because I like to carry like small bags and not to have one thing, especially I think since when we aren't using backpacks, we also don't distribute the weight evenly, so it's a lot of weight on one side. And so what I'm hoping with the DJI Osmo Pocket is that, you know, if I use like small bags like this, you know, we'll treat it like mint, lipstick kind of thing, something that we don't necessarily have to like, you know, it will become one of those items where it's really good to have on you, because when it's time to ready, like when it's time and you're ready to kind of take or capture something, you can just turn it on and just start filming. And that's what I see this product to really be, something that you can have on the go with you so that you can just film something if you need. So questions and concerns. So one of the things that people have been talking about is battery life, and having like being concerned about the fact that you only get 2 hours of footage. I think 2 hours of footage is actually a lot. If you've ever tried like filming things, or I mean, sorry, not even filming, editing things, it is a lot of content to be playing around with. So I think 2 hours is actually quite sufficient. And I think, you know, if you need to charge your batteries, it's very convenient to just have your power bank with you. I used to always carry power banks around for my phone, but I'm quite thankful that actually iPhone X has been very strong on the battery life, so I can go full days without really needing to use it. But like I said, I usually have this on me anyway, so it's not hard to kind of just charge it. And I mean, I haven't really considered the fact that maybe, you know, when you might be charging it, you might also need to be filming it. But for me, I don't think the battery source issue is such a big thing at all. Second issue, small screen. So when I was trying it out in the store, obviously when you're on the screen itself, it does look a bit small, and sometimes you actually question how much you're getting in there. But actually, you will find that when you attach it to the mobile, you can see a lot. Like the coverage is pretty good, and I think you get quite used to it. It's quite intuitive. I think you'll be able to eventually kind of realize like, okay, what am I going to get in, especially if you have face track to help out with as well. So having to attach it to a phone really isn't a big deal for me, because again, I know that I'm always pretty much with my phone anyways, to contact people, to GPS, those kind of things. So having that phone there to connect to is a plus, but it's not really something I have to carry out with me as an extra. So even if you add the two of these, it's like 290 grams, and that's still a lot less than if I took out the camera, which would be like nearly half a kilo. So yeah, that was definitely a plus for me. Number 3, the ability for it to stand on its own or with accessories. So obviously my review is a bit limited because I'm not taking into the fact that I might need like selfie sticks or something to kind of help me with my day-to-day vlogging. It's something that's yet to be seen. For now, I haven't really considered the need to take or to buy other accessories, because my whole point is that I want something small and compact. So the ability to stand on its own, I think, was something that people were kind of questioning in terms of whether or not you need those extra parts, the one with the Bluetooth function, or just, yeah. So there are definitely limitations, but I think, again, it comes down to what your use is. You know, people were asking me what I would get at a GoPro Hero. I never really considered that, just because I think, I don't know if my need is really there. For me, the selling point was also the stabilization, because, you know, when I'm using my Canon G6, yes, it has a good stabilization itself, but it still can't really mimic the kind of smoothness you get from a DJI gimbal thing. After the first few reviews came out about audio, I actually wasn't planning to get it, because I thought, oh, okay, well, it's going to be a real bummer if that's the audio, and I don't want to have to go buy like an external recorder to video things, or like have a separate voiceover. But then, you know, it was quite good to see that DJI updated the firmware, and then so they kind of fixed it. I've actually been having issues with the firmware. I don't think my firmware has been updated properly, and I haven't really like when I've tried to activate it, it hasn't been working. Nothing essentially pops up, so there's no way for me to update the firmware simply because I don't have a notification. I did take it into DJI. They said it was fixed, so I don't know, because to be honest, like the audio sounds fine. It's just more the issue that when I open up the app, I can't find story mode even with the Osmo plugged in. So I'm not really sure. It pulls up story mode, but then I can only do it from a point of view that I have already videos saved in. But I'm pretty sure, if I recall, when trying it out in store, I would be able to do it live, like take the shot based on that moment kind of thing. So I mean, it is a bit of a setback, and it has been a bit frustrating just because I feel like I'm a bit of like a broken record, repeating myself to different kind of store assistants or online customer support. But I am hoping that it will be fixed, and like I said, right now it's not too big of an issue because the audio sounds fine when I play back. It's more just like, you know, I wanted to have everything complete and be able to play with story mode. But like I said, it does ultimately come down to what you need. I really want to make this relationship work with the Osmo Pocket, because I think the mobility, not having the bulk, is the biggest factor for me, and I'm hoping it will mean that I deliver more content. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this kind of non-tech consumer edit. If you have any other questions, or just, you know, want me to share more about my experience after, just do let me know. I'm hoping that most of the footage that will come like in the next kind of few vlogs will be probably from the DJI. So far it's quite straightforward to use. Like I said, it's quite intuitive with face track as well. You won't really worry about not having your face in because it will be focused on you. And I'm getting used to a bit of like the other settings like FPV, follow, and tilt, but I'm not someone that needs to be super caring about or super worried about like all the frames per second. To be honest, I probably still need to go Google what these different terms kind of mean. But yeah, so hope you've enjoyed, and if you have any comments, please leave them below and feel free to subscribe. Thank you. Bye.